Let me tell you what is happening real time for me, right? I was able to contribute to start a seed in my account that ATN has grown at least by 5% over just the first month of me being there. That is what the truth of the matter is. Let me tell you, as somebody who joined late February, March was the first month. I'm now witnessing the fact that, okay, we know drawdowns were happening. And you talk about that. Everybody anticipates that, but nobody talks about what's the actual response and reaction when it happens. So to know that there is a team of traders behind this, and you hear that in the conversation, right? But in Oz, there was a man behind the curtain, right? Right. But here, there is a team behind the curtain, and they are putting in the work to do what is really a 60% swing, right? It wasn't just a 30, it was a 60. That they were able to come back with to get us back in the net positive. I want to celebrate and honor the efforts of ATN. I want to celebrate and honor your efforts as our leader. And I want to celebrate and honor their efforts as the team, because they are the unsung heroes that we know we cannot move on without. So I appreciate the transparency because that was my focus. Like, I'm watching the numbers, I'm patient with it. Okay, yes, this drawdown happened. It was sizable, but I didn't notice it in the end because I watched it come back because we had people supporting us. And I think that is what makes ATN different, right? And that's the premium, right? I was reading on Reddit, people commenting about the differences between ATN and why it's not real and is it real? Well, it's certainly real. You have a team of people, which makes the difference, right? It's not just you getting an algo, a bot, you plugging it into a or what have you, and then it's just running, and if it hits, it hits, and then you have no capacity to recover, right? We don't do that here at ATN, and I think that's a fundamental difference. So I'm excited about that.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your professional background?
My professional background is in education and nonprofit. I mean, and you could generalize that out to public service. I have been a nonprofit executive and currently serving a higher education organization that's one of the largest in the country. And so just really fortunate to be able to drive impact in the lives of others in a meaningful way.
100%. And what's been your motivation for wanting to make passive income?
It's of course your family first, right? You want to make sure that you can establish a future for those who are closest to you, and having a young son and a wife is very important to make sure that their futures are taken care of. But I also have a larger vision. I believe that resources are the way that we can drive impact. And when you are in control of those resources, you can drive the positivity, the direction that you want to. My long-term vision is to leverage the funds that we are generating here in the network to create a foundation of sorts that helps people throughout their lives to develop skills, to seize opportunities so that they can also have transformative futures.
100%. No, that's so smart, because it doesn't start when they're 18 years old, right? And they're trying to figure out what's going on in the world. It starts well before that. So that's excellent. So for you, what have you tried before in terms of actually trying to make passive income or make a second stream of income for yourself?
I was one of the lucky ones in terms of automated processes. I was able to start a small Amazon shop, but I didn't invest much, right? I only invested maybe somewhere between 3 and 5. But shortly thereafter, of course, as you've heard the story, right? Amazon locked up. Couldn't get access to those resources, couldn't get access to that inventory, but still had the desire, right, to generate income. I came across ATN. Of course, it was some Facebook ads, some Instagram reels, and you just have to be willing to take the risk. Let me just speak plainly. You're not going to know until you're on the other side, right? And I get that completely, that some people want to know everything up front. Well, the truth of the matter is that ATN is a real company. They have a real CEO that I speak with. Right, I have an outstanding customer service representative who's completely responsive in Julio. And we now have a team of traders, which I think is what makes us different from other organizations and other automated processes, is that they're actually watching it for you in real time to prevent any substantial losses. Now, losses may happen. This is still the world of trading, right? But at least you know that there's somebody who's got your back. And I think that's really what excites me about ATN.
100%. How was the actual setup with Julio? How did that process go for you?
Look, it was easy, right? And I hesitate to say that because you think there should be more challenge, right, in that. But what ATN has done is it's made the process so streamlined to where you can be up and running within an hour, 2 hours, depending on the internal processes of the system. You've still got to verify, you still got to provide, all of the know your customer and the identity verification. But once that's up and done, you are off to the races. And I think that that's the smoothest thing about it, is that it really is for the client, set it and forget it. But the team that we have supporting us is working around the clock.
Yeah, it's like the swan on the lake aspect where they're just gliding over top of it, but under the surface, there's a lot of pedaling happening there. So that you're absolutely correct. And so ongoing communication, I think you mentioned it, but how has Julio been? How has the customer service been when it comes to not just the setup, but ongoing?
No, I think it's been phenomenal. I mean, Julio, of course, started with WhatsApp and text, and I've been able to text him, no matter what time of day that's been. But now also we've upgraded to Slack channels, and I think that that's a new feature for the network, in that you now have a team that's supporting you, right? I was just one-on-one engaging with Julio, but now there are 3 or 4 other people in my Slack channel that are getting the messages in real time, so that I know that none of my concerns will ever be lost or dropped. And so to have that type of one-to-one customer service, particularly when you're talking about the resources for your future, is something that you just won't get everywhere. When you talk about finding a partner that's holistically designed to meet all of your needs, to make sure that they're responsive to your questions, to guard your finances and resources and help you grow your investment, and who actually cares about you as an individual, I think that that's called the trifecta, my friend.
That's what I was going to ask you. What do you feel like makes ATN different?
Those are the things. What you have is a complete system. Many other, I don't want to say competitors, but other opportunities present other packages, but none of them are as comprehensive as ATN. I've seen others that present just the bot. I've seen others that give you access to the knowledge to know how to train it, but none of them have given you the access, have provided you with the resources, have facilitated you in completing the process, and then are following up with you with weekly updates, obviously for everyone in the community. You need an update more directly, right? And then I think the other thing that's critically important is being able to speak to people in real time, right? Being able to have a conversation with you, Aaron, as the CEO, being able to reach out to the chief success officer in Julio. Like, these are not everyday occurrences. There are so many gates that people try to put in front, but here there are none. You really are in community. And I think that that is a key difference between ATN and others, is that you are legitimately a part of a network of people that are interested and motivated by the same things you are. And it's not just money, it's about driving impact in the world. So
100.
that's how I'd say it, man.
All of those things, right? And it's great that you're able to see that firsthand, and we expect that to be something that even it continues, right? You mentioned the communication started off in an iMessage or a WhatsApp, but now it's kind of morphed into being as well into the Slack option, which just for us allows for us to give you the best service. Because what happens when Julio may be on a vacation, which he doesn't really take that often, but what happens when maybe Julio's with another client and they're on the line for 2 hours, but your question can take 5 minutes to answer or less than. Now we get the opportunity to have his team of success officers be able to kind of fill the gap and answer those questions, and just speed of service. And that's what made Amazon the #1 company in the world when they were at its height, with the speed of service. We understand how important that is, and it's quality service. So we very much so care about the speed of service. We care about the quality of service. I'm glad that you're experiencing that. But how quickly did you actually start making passive income after you got
Yeah. And I know this is going to sound far-fetched. Let me disclaim that. It's going to sound far-fetched, but it was the first week. Like, it was literally the first week that we were standing in net profit. And some of the things that I've seen on Reddit talking about, well, they're promising outsized returns, that's not the case. What we're focused on is growth over the long term. We're focused on a reasonable approach to that growth that mitigates downside. Notice mitigate, can't eliminate, but substantially mitigates it and focuses on consistent growth. And I think that that's the piece for me that really, if you're on the fence, you should be focused on. We're telling you, we're not going to promise you the world. We're only going to promise you from day to day that we'll do the best we can. And that results in consistent growth over time. So
And
That's
that's
what I
really
would say about ATN.
what it's so great again to constantly have communication with the trading team and the head trader specifically, because now you get the philosophy, because that's the head of the snake, and everything else, trickles down. And so for him, it's a conservative approach. Right. That's the number one thing. The bot is there to earn you guys profit. The trader is there to be able to mitigate the losses, or to be capital preservation focused. Right. That's kind of the two like kind of dichotomies of, on the one side, great sunshine roses, but what happens when it nosedives? Well, you don't really have anybody there to be able to mitigate or to course correct. Versus for him on the conservative side, that's kind of his main focus. But then as well, one of the things as far as what we did discuss today was that most other businesses will focus on the month to month, like, oh, you can get 10%. Oh, we've had 15% months. Oh, we've had these crazy months. Well, that's okay. But sometimes those things last for just a quarter, sometimes even less. Right. Those are things that, okay, great. You got 20 or 30% in a quarter, but it kind of blew up in your face because you weren't the actual technical professional. Whereas on our end, we care so much about the consistency and the longevity of this whole thing. And you even mentioned it just now. It's everybody, all of our clients are in it for the long haul. They all have a growth mindset. They all understand that the real judge of this business will be quarter to quarter, or at least, or year over year. But the other piece that he mentioned, which was very, very vital, was the power of compounding doesn't really prove itself until you start to get to that year mark or 2 or 3 year mark, right? It's the compounding doesn't really have an impact in the 3-month mark. Right. That's why even at 2 or 4 or 6% per month, when you're at in the 12th or 24th or 36th month, then that's when the outsized returns really happen. So no, we're not talking about outsized returns on the front end, but it does over time. It snowballs, it builds, it gives you access to that compound, which is ultimately what we're more so interested in overall, which is the overall growth of the account for a consistent period of time. And that's how we get those outsized returns.
Yeah. No, that Aaron, that's the philosophy that drew me to you all, right? When we talk about easy come, easy go, well, if you build for the future, it'll be here for the long haul.
Yes.
Right. And I think that that's the mindset. If you are looking for a partner to help you grow your future financially through resources and investment, if you're looking for a partner who can help you do that passively, meaning you don't have to worry about it, but that you've got a team and a team that's got your back. If you are looking for long-term growth instead of short-term gains, then ATN is the network for you. But if you are looking for outsized returns that may happen sporadically, or you need it right now, and I'm trying to immediately convert this, that's not the network that we are building. We are building sustainable futures so that everyone can live lives full of opportunity, choice, and promise. And that is what makes ATN special, and why I'm pretty happy being right here at home in the network.
100%. No, we're happy for you. And in that case, but in the last 30 days, how much has your account actually generated?
We've seen returns of between 5 to 8% across this. And that's nothing to shake a stick at, right? When you look at the first month and you generated a 5% return, I don't know where you can get that. If you look at the treasury market, you're going to take a year to get that. Right. When I look at where we are in terms of growth, and to your point, Aaron, about compounding that over time, right? You have the chance to really create, this is not hyperbole, you have the chance to create intergenerational wealth, right? And that, I think, is the significant difference. You won't hear the words intergenerational wealth. You won't hear the words building for the future. You won't hear these things from other opportunities that are out there. Yeah. You hear, we can turn this over in 30 days. Yeah. You can hear, you'll have this amount of return, right? And this is how we've been performing here in this moment. Yeah. But no one outside of ATN that I've encountered has talked to me about what does this mean over a long time horizon, and been explicit about that in their messaging up front. So it's just the transparency for me. It's the honesty for me. It's the proven results for me that I think make the difference here.
I love it. I love it. And at this point, where would you actually rank ATN compared to the other ventures that you've seen out there?
Oh, Aaron, why did you ask me that question? Of course, it's number one. Like when you think about all of the other investment opportunities that are there and the startup capital that's required, the startup energy that's required, right? Before you even see it bearing fruit, this is one where you can actually input your seed investment and watch it grow. There's not a day that goes by that I don't open the platform and look at the numbers and follow. For me, ATN really has been a godsend, right? Because it's taken away the anxiety and the stress of having to think about it and knowing that you've got others there that are competent, that are confident, and that are communicative about what's happening in real time.
Yeah, 100%. And you mentioned the treasury market. That's something that ultimately what we're comparing ourselves to and against is the stock market and the real estate, traditional forms of investing, to where it's just like on average, both of those industries are 7 to 10%. Now you may have an outsized year, you may have an underperforming year, right? But on average, the last 100 years, that's what it's been, 7 to 10% on an annual basis. For us, that's kind of what we understand. Like if we're doing the consistent things and even operating at a fairly conservative level, it still is going to outperform them by multiples. That's what we look at again. And we look at the year over year. We look at the overall growth of the account. That's something that's important. And for you, how passive after the onboarding phase, how passive has ATN been for you?
I haven't had to do anything, right? And it's remarkable because you start off by saying, I don't want to have to do anything. And then when you get to the point of not having to do anything, you're looking for things to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So ATN has really delivered on the promise of passivity because they've structured the network in such a way to where the experts are lending their expertise to make sure that they are the safeguard, while the algorithm, the bot, is focused on maximizing returns.
Yeah.
So you really do have the best of both worlds. You have something that's out there pushing the numbers higher, while you've got somebody holding the reins and saying, you know what, we're going to make sure that this thing goes in the right direction and that this train stays on the tracks. And when you're looking for return on investment, capital preservation is the precursor to return on investment.
Yes.
Otherwise, your investment will disappear and you will have no return. So you want both. And if you do want both, ATN has it for you.
And you mentioned the Reddit post as well. What you won't see on the Reddit post are actual clients, right? They're only people that either have at the height of it, maybe they have gotten on a call with an individual, but on the lower end, they're just reading other things and they're just like, I'm just going to make a comment here. So we do have people that are sniffing. They don't really know what's happening behind the scenes. A lot of our prospects that do end up coming over, they rely on conversations like this. So honest question on your end, do you believe that ATN is a scam or I'm a scammer?
No. Let me say this very clearly. I would not be a supporter of this network if it were. And the moment that it feels that way, I will no longer be a part. Let me say that very clearly up front.
Yeah.
I think what we get concerned about or confused about as humans, right? We come with healthy skepticism. And I'm not saying that I was at 100% when I was going in.
Yeah.
Nobody ever is when you're giving sums of money over to somebody that you've just met through a screen. Let's be very clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think we also have to overcome is irrational fear, right? There are comments out there that talk about the network, but have never engaged with it, have never had a conversation, don't understand what makes us different, and just assume because it's on Facebook or on Instagram that it is a scam.
Yeah.
I don't dispute that.
Exactly.
Those places are rife with scams, right? But there's a reason over millennia humans have determined that there is no reward without risk.
Yeah.
Here, however, the risk is minimal, right? You have the opportunity to have a conversation with Aaron, the CEO. You have an opportunity to experience the firsthand customer service in real time that Julio and the client success team provides. We will have an opportunity to grow together as a network later on this year, meeting in convention to actually discuss the issues, the challenges, and the opportunities that each of us as partners together in this bring to the table. That's the reality of this. While I understand that people are out there click-clacking keys, let me tell you what is happening real time for me, right? I was able to contribute to start a seed in my account that ATN has grown at least by 5% over just the first month of me being there. That is what the truth of the matter is. I can't speak for everyone else. I can only speak for me. But I am convinced that this is an opportunity for me to grow my future, my family's future, right? And possibly even my grandchildren's future. But all because I had the courage and conviction to say, you know what? I'm not going to be paralyzed by fear. I'm going to step out on faith. And I'm going to trust that they're going to deliver on what they say that they will. And to date, Aaron, I say this confidently, you all have. And I'm looking forward to it continuing into the future, if you catch my drift.
100%. This conversation doesn't just end and the accounts, doing anything differently. That's something that we strive to constantly raise the bar for ourselves and continue to deliver on a high quality basis. So that's something that you have our absolute word that what you've already experienced and kind of what you've espoused already is what we definitely plan to continue and continue to also iterate and improve. Again, that's based off of the corrections or the parameters that have been placed after the Black Swan event, and then also the communication piece of just making that more efficient and all the deliverabilities. We're constantly improving. It's called Kaizen. So Toyota really took this apart, where it was just like they wanted to be 1% better every single day. When you're 1% better every single day, that's 365% better at the end of the year. But then that compound effect that we're talking about, right? And it makes a huge difference. So that's for us. We're in constant improvement. That's why, again, my team and I, we meet like no matter if we have specific talking points or not. We come on, we're locked in for that period of time, 2 to 5 hours, if we do have real things to be able to optimize and strategize about. But we just come in, mastermind together, optimize together, make sure that the deliverability is as high level as we possibly can make it. And you guys are seeing what the results are.
Absolutely. And it's good to be a part of a community that has the same mindset that you're talking about. This iterative process of improvement, yes. Right? We are not claiming that we've gotten it right, but what we are committed to is growth and seizing the opportunities for iteration as they come. So I'm just excited, Aaron, about what the future holds, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, 100%. Just based off of how things have gone the last 30, 40 days or so, and assuming that they do continue for however long it takes, how likely would you be to recommend us?
Oh, Aaron, absolutely. Like without fail. I mean, and it's not just the money, it's the relationships. Yeah. Like, I think that's what's missing. Like, you can make money with anybody, but you much rather do it with people who you trust and can call friend. Yeah. And I think that is what is the outsized difference for us. It's not just a computer screen. It's not just, people trying to get dollars and cents. Yeah. It's really about having a community of like-minded people who want to make a difference in the world.
100%. Why should someone listening actually take action right now?
I think that's a very simple question. Every day you have two choices. You can make today the same as yesterday, or you can set it up to be different tomorrow. If you are looking to make it different tomorrow, then you should be having a conversation with ATN today. If you want it to remain the same, and if you want to stay in a skeptical position, do that. Just recognize the change you're looking for won't come until you make the difference today. Yeah. And I think that's what ATN is all about.
100%. And that's very true on our end, as far as like, if I would have made the decision after being burned more than 6 figures to just like give up on passive income and just have that not be something that I'm interested in, I wouldn't be where I'm at, anywhere close to making several 5 figures on a monthly basis, and that being a reality for me. But it's something that some people have a lot of burn, a lot of trauma, a lot of all of that, and that makes it hard for them. And we recognize that, and we still respect those people. And like you said, it's okay that would be, you'd be overly skeptical, or you would be like not willing to take that level of a risk or commitment or make that jump. But if they are willing to, there are things that they can expect from us. And that's, again, this is the transparency, it's the consistency, and it's the actual like commitment to excellence in terms of the client experience. So that's what we can deliver. That's what we help people to see. And I'm glad, again, more importantly than anything, especially on this call, that you are experiencing that. And that's what matters the most.
No, absolutely, Aaron. And I'm just so glad that you all have set it up this way. I'm so grateful. I'm excited about what the future holds, my friend.
100%. I love it. So thank you so much for your time on this.
Of course, my friend. Look, have a good week. I'll see you soon.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So every 30 days, I talk one-on-one with my clients, and that was their experience. If you want to learn more on how we help our clients earn 60% or more per year, then click the link in the description below.